You're listening to Crazy Shit in Real Estate. You'll be amazed at all these wild but true situations that others have found themselves in. Because on this show, you'll hear uncensored, unbelievable stories from the world of real estate. I'm Leigh Brown. Let's dive right in.
I'm Leigh Brown. This is Crazy Shit in Real Estate. Today, you're going to get to talk with a broker in the great state of Georgia. I've got Robert Kozlowski on with us to talk about snakes, how he met his wife, and swings in master bedroom closets. I'm pretty sure you're going to want to hang out for this conversation. I'll see you on the other side. What's happening, real estate professor?
How are you, ma'am?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
Bryce, what's going on in Kozlowski world?
Oh, lots of teaching over these. We changed our contracts drastically.
Oh, you did? We only had to change like 2 lines because we are so...
We shouldn't have. We made them harder. So, yeah, I've been teaching like 2 classes a day over our new forms. And
that's for the ones you can get to. The agents
that's right.
Worried about are the I do one deal every 2 years person
right.
Who's going to show back up next year and say, wait, what the hell?
I had a broker, Leigh, call me the other day and say, hey, I was told to call you. What's this lawsuit?
And what did you say? Did you have some fun with them?
I was like, what lawsuit? And they went, oh, is there not a lawsuit? I'm like, of course there's a lawsuit.
Which one? There's 17.
Exactly. There's a lot. And that broker has 13 agents. Yes. And I'm like freaking out how those agents are going to happen. Yesterday, my contract class had 120 something people in it, though.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It was at a college. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a real good one.
So do you remember in South Carolina, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years ago, hell, it could have been 10 years ago. I have no concept of time anymore. But there was a broker who was keeping women locked up in a shed on his property. And when they caught him, he lost his license. And when he lost his license, all of his agents became unaffiliated because they were no longer hanging with an active firm because he was not active and they all had to scramble to find a broker.
Right.
I think that's the kind of scenario you should send over when you get a call from a mediocre broker and say, when you're not dialed in, it's your agents that are at risk. And I'm not suggesting that you're keeping women locked up in a shed property,
but it's just like
your agents are still hostage to bad information.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's it, Robert. Are your agents held hostage to bad information or just held hostage?
There you go. We should do that. We should do a whole story on that. But yeah, you're right.
Of the women who were trapped, and I feel bad for those agents that didn't know that their broker was that disgusting of a human that should have been the wood chipper, but damn.
You would think there was some hints there, but maybe not.
But, you don't know anymore because
you never know.
I mean, the people who get arrested, the mugshots never look like they should have been locked up years ago.
And no neighbor ever knew that but they were just a normal person.
But every time we look at the sex offender website, because I have a couple of past clients that are very proactive in watching the sex offender website, and they send me whoever they find, and I look at the mugshot, and I'm like, well, of course, I can look at that person and tell.
Right. There's something it could do with that interesting mustache they have, but
So one of my favorite Instagram accounts in Charlotte likes to post the weekly mugshots, and then their caption is always, "Who do you know?" And then the comments are all the entertainment I need. Frankly, I do not need Hollywood as long as I have comments on Instagram. And these people will say, "Well, he looks guilty." Actually, even better is when somebody says, I posted my bail. Why is my picture on here? And I'm like, well.
Oh.
So now definitely Crazy Shit in Real Estate took a wild direction there. So welcome to the show. Why don't you tell the viewers who the real estate professor is, where you're located? Give them a little bit of the background on you.
Okay. Well, I started in real estate 23 years ago, thinking after owning my own personal cell phone company that I had 10 stores, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sell and retire.
Wait a minute. Is this the phone that was in the bag in my car for $9.99 a minute?
Yeah, I had the first cell phones, back in a long time ago. But in 2001, I sold it and I decided, I'm going to retire and I'm never going to work for anybody again. And, when you retire very young like that, because of course that was, I was very young, but none of my friends were retired. So that gets boring pretty quick. And I'm like, what can I do? I never have to have a boss again. And then I said, oh yeah, real estate. Well, then you get in real estate and you realize everybody's your boss at that point. So that is a bad choice. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I started teaching. I teach pre-license. I teach broker classes. I teach all over and just travel the state teaching, and got very involved, as you tell everybody to do. Get involved with your NAR, get involved with local committees, get involved. And it just, we say it all the time. You want somebody to do something, pick a busy person, and you get involved. You want to stay involved. And the more you give, the more you get out of it. And that's just what I did. So I got involved, and I've been president of just about everything you can think of. And, on the state line as regional director, and just doing a lot of stuff to give back and to teach agents, because, the more we're involved and the more knowledgeable we are, the more professional we can be.
And of course, you're in coastal Georgia.
That's
and
right.
When did you suck your wife into the business? Because
she was actually selling. Yeah, she was selling. I saw her when I moved down here to the coast. She was sitting across from me in a board meeting deal. She was a chairman of a committee, and I looked at her and she looked at me. And then the rest of the day I was kind of talking to her, and I asked her to go to dinner, and she still tells me she never thought that was a date. She thought we were just going to go talk about real estate. I thought it was a date. Ended up, we started dating after a while. So I got lucky. She was with another company. And after we got married, everybody kept saying, when are you going to make her come work for you? And I'm like, that's up to her. It took her a little while, but now she's over here and she's a great agent. We make it good
you
team.
Actually met your wife in a committee meeting at your local association.
Yes, I did. Absolutely.
Well, if that's not a reason for people to volunteer, I didn't know that we could do speed dating and matchmaking at the association. But these were single people at the time, y'all. I just want to point that out.
Both of us, totally.
We were both available. So unlike some of the other stories you've heard about in real estate, they're legit. I just want to point that out.
That's right. We were legit at the time, and it took a while. I think beat her down, because the whole time we went out, she kept saying, this isn't really going to go anywhere. I'm not looking for a boyfriend, a husband, or whatever. She had never been married, never wanted to be married. And it just, after time, she's like, one day it just snapped in her, and she's like, okay, this is the man for me. So, hey, guys, don't give up. You can beat them down.
That's so romantic. She just snapped one day.
That's right. Just snapped one day and decided, okay, yeah, all right, I can do this. But yeah, she's amazing.
She is.
Very,
She's got
very
such
lucky.
A good spirit about her, but that's hilarious that you said it took her snapping.
Hey,
well, she's now going to be sharing this episode with everybody she knows, because she's going to enjoy this story even more than I did. But let's talk about the life in real estate. Of course, you're an instructor, and we're recording this episode in the middle of July 2024, and that is when everybody in real estate is preparing for our next big structural change. And I want to point that out, friends, because while you may be newer to real estate, if you're watching this episode, or you may be a consumer who's just kind of addicted to the randomness of my show, and I welcome you too. What you should know is that real estate has gone through seismic changes before. We went from a paper MLS book to computers. We have gone from picking up keys in offices to lockbox. We have gone from seller agency and seller sub-agency to buyer agency to transaction agency. We have been through big changes before. This is just the next one. So for those of y'all that are in the business, you got to breathe. Yes, it's going to suck, but you got to breathe, because we've been through stuff before. Now, as an instructor, I'm curious to know what you're hearing from your students as they prepare for a change, and what are their big hiccups as they communicate to the general public about what's happening around the change in real estate.
I think one of the things, I start every class of mine now, just like what you just said, guys, if you've been in real estate for any amount of time, every time something changes, we as real estate agents think, oh, well, this is the end of real estate.
This is it. We're travel agents.
It's time to retire. That's what everybody says. Well, it's about time for me to retire. And I say, the world's not ending. The sky's not falling. It's just a different shade of blue tomorrow. That's all there is. And, we will get through it. And we just need to know how we're going to act tomorrow. That's the difference. I guess it's a seismic event, but that's every real estate agent has to decide that for themselves. Because just the settlement says certain things, you still decide how you're going to do your business.
Well, what makes it seismic is that organized real estate is being straight frontal assault attacked by the Department of Justice and by foreign adversaries and by venture capital money and by lawyers. So we're seeing this shift is happening courtesy of evil outside forces. And yes,
Absolutely.
I did call the DOJ evil, and go ahead and fight me on that. I'm not wrong. And so that's what I think is causing this to be a different kind of feel, because the government's pushing this through, which means that the consumer has been told that we're the bad guys, but we, the realtors, are not the bad guys. We're trying to implement changes to protect the people we serve and to protect our profession, while also trying to keep the government in its appropriate place, which is, in my opinion, gone, but it's a different discussion.
That's
so
right.
I do think it's a little different in tenor, because they're also not done yet. And when I look at how earthquakes happen, right, you have the aftershocks, and it happens over and over. This is round one. We're going to see more changes that occur, which is good for you as an instructor and good for me as an instructor, because I don't know about you, but I love some of the faces showing up in education that I've never met before.
Never seen before. That's right.
And I love that they are saying, you know what? I'm here now. Teach me things, which tells me the next generation of realtor is going to be a more educated agent and definitely a more professional agent. What do you think? Is that going to happen in your market too?
100%. I believe it. I've been saying for years to my students, would you rather not have, instead of 119,000 licensed agents in Georgia, 30,000 professional, well-educated agents that do the job that their clients think, wow, they deserve every penny they get, rather than 119 that they're going, ugh, I don't know. And I think we're going to start seeing some of that. The agents who are going to triumph over this change are the ones who have systems in place, who've been doing it. They're the ones who managed every other issue we've had in real estate. The ones who,
if they haven't been doing it well, they're making an active decision now
to make systems.
I'm going to get there. I'm going to go from average to great, because one of the things I love about real estate is it gives people the ability to make that decision. You don't want to be one
tomorrow.
of the.
That's right.
You can elevate right now. Boom.
That's it. And you can sit and make your systems. And once you have them, you can weather anything that happens, really. We saw the crashes in real estate, right? And the ones who are still in business are the ones who did the same thing day to day, right? And that's what's going to happen.
We didn't love the Great Recession.
No, we didn't love it. That's right. We made it through. Our hair was pulled out and our clothes were ripped and we had black eyes, but we made it through, and now we're lucky enough to be able to be the people that are able to teach even the older agents, like you say, hey, this is the systems you need, right? What's your value? Think of it in your head before you come out with it. Some agents, when the market's going this the whole time, value's not even discussed, right? It's just, hey, this is how much I'm going to do it, and this is what's going to be done. But when the market evens out, we need to talk about value. And every agent has a value. It's either a good one or a bad one. And you can decide, is it going to be good or bad now?
And you can change it if you want to change your game completely right now, because you bring up a good point. Those of us that are long in the tooth, we've seen different market conditions. We might not be thrilled about the change that's ahead of us, but we know that we'll be able to manage it. The younger ones that came in after the recession ended, so after, say, 2014, y'all have not experienced a down market. You have not experienced really even a sideways market. It's stabilizing now, but overall, the markets have gone up since 2014. You haven't experienced a big change in the way that agency works or in our general statutes. But those of us that are older, we can tell you, you can manage if you choose to, because it's always been about how agents individually decide they want to do things. So now, do you still do production, or do you just do the brokering and the instructing at this point?
Brokering, teaching, and volunteering. I don't sell anymore. When I got into the brokering part, I've made a conscious decision that, I'm going to concentrate on making sure that the agents can do this. And to me, that took a lot more time for me to do it. I look at guys like you and I'm like, I wish I could do both at the same time. But in my head, I have a hard time doing that. And not because I think there's an issue. I think it's because of me sitting down doing it. I don't know if I could to produce and be a broker. Y'all are amazing brokers who get out there and do that. You're one of the best instructors that I've seen. And that's not just blowing smoke. I mean, every agent that I have, I tell them, go take Leigh's classes. In fact, look, I have a Leigh Brown pins on my desk still today.
Good job.
I am always practicing it. I give them your books, and that's not blowing. Don't just listen to me. Listen to the best out there. And
Well,
that's what they need to
we learn to
continue
listen
doing.
to each other because
That's right.
none of us has a corner on the market of good
Nope.
ideas and good practices. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. One of the reasons I love instructing is I'll talk to an agent at the end and they'll say, well, I'm doing this. And I go, what? Let me write that down. And I
That's
get to
right.
pick up little things everywhere I go. So it's always a two-way street. Now, when you gave up practice to become a broker, what did you miss the most? And the reason I asked this question, when the markets change, a lot of agents will say, I'm going to go off on my own. It's going to save me a bunch of money. They may not have thought through all of the intricacies of brokerage, but I understand that entrepreneurial urge. Gotta love you for doing it. But they move in from sales to management and they sometimes miss a step because they didn't know what they didn't know.
Right.
What did you miss about selling and what do you wish you'd known about brokering before you made that complete leap over?
What I miss is the relationships. I mean, that's the best thing about real estate, the relationship building. I tell salespeople, that they come talk to us about coming to our brokerages and they're like, I was the best seller at this and this and this. And I'm like, real estate's different. You might have been an amazing salesperson doing something else and getting to real estate and decide you can't do it because it's a different thing. You can't sell somebody a house. You see what I'm saying? You can talk to them and say, hey, you're showing the house and you're like, hey, come look at this kitchen because it's what I like. And I'm trying to oversell, but, the husband's thinking, I want to see the bathroom. I got IBS. I don't care about this kitchen. And, you can't oversell something. You have to be that relationship person who listens. I love the relationships that I build in real estate, and I loved it as sellers and buyers. And I miss that. I do it with my agents, but I get very rare times I get to sit down with a buyer and seller anymore. Totally miss that. What I should have thought a little more of, we do think, hey, I'm going to get real estate. I'm going to be a broker and I'm going to be the best broker there is. First of all, it's not what you think it is. It is not what you think it is. It is being a kindergarten teacher again. And that's not saying bad about agents, but you are helping agents so much because some of them need a lot. Some of them don't need any.
Right.
But it's learning what they need, right? It's just like in that kindergarten class. You have to learn what each kindergartner needs or any school person needs. It's learning that. And you could be a great salesperson, not a good broker. You can be an amazing broker, not a good salesperson. The outlay, the things that you do, come up with your systems. If you want to be a broker up front, get what you get now, what you need, and think of you having to provide that for everybody, right? Because you're going to have to teach them and provide stuff for them. So I miss the relationship part of it. Even though I do like the relationship I build with agents, the public is a different aspect of it that I really missed. Putting somebody in my car and talking to them and showing them a house and watching their face as they buy a house is just one of the best things you can do. They remember you forever.
Yeah. Well, kind of. They remember the feeling of you. They might not remember your name
If
because
you don't
some
follow
of y'all don't follow up with them after they buy their houses, which is why
That's right.
I go to list a house and I'll ask, why didn't you call the agent that sold you this? And I will get back, oh, she was so nice. I'm like, yeah, who was it? I don't know her name. I'm like, all right, that's good.
Yeah.
But it was a generally good feeling. And
That's right.
it goes back to what you're saying, though. I mean, that relationship is different because it is intense. It is short term, usually, except for the people who have a hard time getting in a house. And with agents, a good agent is so busy, you don't really get the opportunity to build the intense relationship. You can have a strong professional relationship, but
Right.
it's just different.
It's
And so
different.
I love that
It's a different feel. I remember I haven't sold, I guess, at all for 12, 15 years. And I still have some of my old people call me today and say, hey, are you still selling?
Oh,
Because I haven't changed my number. I got that when I sold a cell phone store. I don't ever change my number. Whatever I'm doing, that's my number because I will never remember the numbers of the people I've dealt with in the past. So I
do you
can't
just
put
let
them
your
in.
wife have those referrals when they come in? You say,
I
I'm
do.
not active, but my wife is.
You know what I've done? Honestly, if my wife gets a little upset with me sometimes because I give it to the floor duty agent.
Oh, no. What are you
And
doing?
because I
wife
feel
up.
like, well, she gets it if she's on floor duty. Or if they call me at night, they need somebody right now, she'll get that one. But if I'm in the office and there's a floor duty agent, they're going to get the referral.
You are going to be in so much trouble when she watches this episode.
Oh, I know. She gets
Where
on
is
to
the
me over
loyalty?
some of this stuff every day.
That's okay. Your agents are going to be like, heck yeah, this is good.
Yeah. I got some good ones, that's for sure.
The show is about the crazy side of real estate, which can be something you've seen as a managing broker, helping an agent get through something. It could be something you did in production. It could be a story you had third hand as the spouse of a realtor. Love to know what you have to tell, because my listeners love the side of real estate that nobody sees but us.
Okay, so can I tell you 2 quick ones?
Yes.
So one, my wife goes to list a house and she texts me and says, "Oh my God, that's all it says." And I'm like, "What's up?" She goes, "I'll have to call you after." And I'm like, "What? You can't do that to me."
I know. She's safe, right?
I mean, everything okay? Yes. That's all she said. I was like, wow, this is not fair. So then after, she starts sending me pictures. This house she goes to list, wall, floor, ceiling to floor, boxes, cages of snakes, every bit of the house. They're snake breeders. And
Ooh.
I love snakes. I love them. I'll catch them. I'm not scared of them. I don't have a problem
Not
with
in
them.
the house. Black snake keeps
Oh,
the
yeah, I'll
critters
catch
away
them
from my
outside.
chickens. That's different.
All over their house. Every inch of their bedrooms, floor to ceiling snakes in cages and stuff. They're breeding snakes. So she's freaking out over that, right? She's like, can't do it. So somebody else got the listing. They moved some of the snakes out, but they won't let them go into a part of the house in the back. They won't let them. It's locked. Buyers can't see in there. Nobody can see in there. Agents can't see in there. So everybody's like, wow, that's interesting. Never seen a house loaded with snakes like that. So the house is actually just sold. Thank heavens. The other one, and this is a little funny to me. I have a 97-year-old agent. Her name's Miss Vivian. Got her license when she was 74.
Let's go, Miss Vivian. All right.
Yeah, still sells every day. Sits floor duty. Active on committees at our local association.
Of course she is.
She shows up. She brings food. She works. She shows up every committee meeting, drives, shows houses, lists, sells. She's an amazing woman. She goes to show a house and she comes to me and she says, "Robert, I just went to look at this house. They had a swing in the closet. What do you think that's for?" And I looked at her and said, "Well, Miss Vivian, go ask Bill." That's the guy she's in the office with. Bill walks by and says, "Really?" And I hear her back in the back go, "Oh my." So now every class I teach, when I talk to her, she goes, "Can I tell a story?" And she tells that story.
I bet she does. And for all of you who are wholesome, do not Google what we're talking about here,
No.
because it's a bad idea. Just ask a friend. Go
That
ask
is a
Bill.
crazy-
Do what,
That's right.
what we told Miss Vivian. Ask Bill.
It was hilarious.
The question
I
becomes,
was not telling her.
do they have to replace the carpet in the closet?
Right. Yeah. I told her just don't take a picture of the closet.
That's a very solid piece of staging advice there, and
That's right.
professional presentation of the property. Just like I just sitting here thinking about a house full of snakes, and how does the stager broach that conversation? Because when you're staging a house, people take it very personally if you ask them to even move the nightstand to the other side of the bed. I can't imagine
Right.
these people were thrilled at being told the snakes needed a
All of them.
Airbnb.
Right. Yeah. You're going to have to put these somewhere. You're going to have to get rid of these. I don't think a lot of people are going to come show the house.
I mean, if it did sell, that's great. But if you're a consumer who's watching or listening to this, just trust us that if you block off part of your house and buyers cannot see it, it's highly unlikely that you're going to find a buyer that will put up with that at a reasonable market price. There's always somebody that will buy a pig and a poke, but they want a discount for that. So just,
That's right.
get the snakes out before the showings, and we would all appreciate that. And
Lots
take
of
the
fun.
swing down too. You should not leave a swing up for Miss Vivian to have to ask
That's right.
what your swing's for. Okay, so if somebody wants to reach out to Robert Kozlowski, what is the best way for them to find you? Is it website, text, phone, email? How do they find you?
They can text me or 912-441-2835, or you send me an email at robert@mycbhomes, or askrobert@mail.com.
Or because y'all are sitting there looking up what Miss Vivian was asking, even though I told you not to, that's fine. All of Robert's contact information is in the show notes for this episode. So you can go follow the social handles, reach out anytime if you have questions about real estate in Georgia, or if you want to maybe pick somebody's brain about going from sales to brokerage. none of us should have to reinvent the wheel because all the answers really do exist in real estate. So really, I appreciate you coming on the show and
thank you.
Sharing several different angles with our viewers. And now we know that when it's time for committee applications to open, we should reach out to our single members and tell them that there could be love waiting for them in the
association. That's right. That's right. It can happen to you.
Say something nice about Robert in the comments, hit the bell to subscribe, and most importantly, come back and see us next time.
Thanks, Leigh.
As always, I'm so super thrilled that you joined in for more crazy shit. And if you're a realtor, investor, inspector, lender, or just a regular human being who happens to have an unbelievable story that you need to tell the world about, or frankly, you just need to one-up the story you just heard, then make sure to DM me on Instagram at Leigh Thomas Brown, or tweet me at Leigh Brown, or frankly, any social network where you hang out. I'm there. And if you had some fun, then you totally want to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes.